Pokemon Legends Z-A is now available and not necessarily making waves with the community in the form of excitement. Long-term fans of Pokemon are still looking forward to the game and are excited to play it. But overall, there seems to be a very muted negative tone that I've seen online surrounding it. Light says, new game footage of Pokemon Legends Z-A. Part 1, exploring Lumiose City. Part 2, battling in ZA Royale. Part 3, promotion match, V versus Simisage. And Part 4, battle against Rogue Meta Victorbeal. As far as me, I haven't played Pokemon since Sword and Shield on the Switch, where I kind of fell out of love with it. I used to play it all the time on Game Boy, DS, all the way to Switch. And at that point, I was like, you know what? It's just more of the same. And I've kind of outgrown the series itself. And I know there's a lot of people that still love Pokemon that are looking forward to this game. But after the reveal of the graphics have come out, people are not necessarily blown away. And then comparing it to competitors in the field like Digimon or PalWorld, they have even less of a reason to bother with Pokemon anymore. Which brings me to a friend of the channel, Madam Savvy, who says, anyone rating it high doesn't care or know lore and is someone who doesn't like to think. Most likely the surface level Pokemon enjoyer. Now, this is coming from Madam Savvy, who, I don't know, may or may not have sailed the high seas, we'll say, to get an early look at this game, and has reflected on how disappointed overall she is with it, being a very hardcore Pokemon fan. I take her word as gospel with the reaction of it. She says, anyone rating it lower probably doesn't care about the lore, probably doesn't like the battling and repetitive nature. Anyone rating it in the middle probably doesn't care about the lore and accepts it for what it is and experience. If you care about the lore, you're going to have a bad time. If you care about localization, you're going to roll your eyes a few times. Oh, that's the other thing. Not just Madam Savvy. Multiple people are saying the translations and localizations are cringe to the extreme. If you're a content creator, you're probably telling everyone how great it is so you can profit off guides. I'm going to tell you I'm utterly gutted. Think the music is amazing, and we will never get a do-over. The battle mechanics are fine. I like it, but comparing it to the OG is not possible because it completely changes the game and battle. This is in response to Sheepsidian, followed up saying, tagging Pokemon. Not only is this woman a bigger fan of Pokemon than I am, and I've played through most every Pokemon game at least twice, but this is her gen. If there's anyone I thought would give some of the gripes a pass, it's Madam Savvy. The fact that this game upsets her to this degree is telling. The Pokemon Company has to use the sauce again. It's been about a decade since their decline started. It isn't even due in part to disinterest from customers. It's because of disinterest in fun. It's become a cash grab and excuses for lack of quality. And I'm tired of it. I want to give the Pokemon Company money in good faith again. Give us quality again. And Savvy quote tweets Sheep and says, I can excuse a lot of things, but I can't excuse this one. I feel a bit like Meatloaf here. When I said I was originally buying this game for the hope of 2 lines of dialogue, I was serious. My expectations were low. $600 or whatever the total cost would have been. Everyone knows I shill for XY. Everyone knows I excuse a lot in self-aware rambles. And they smackledorfed me. Brimstone says, will you be doing a video on this? She says, I will share my thoughts on it in ample detail. Yeah. So not necessarily the greatest look, but then we have other side of things, and that is the shills. Light says, I just finished Pokemon Legends Z-A. I just have to say, it's a masterpiece. It's been a long time since I've felt this much from a Pokemon game. Now I'm going to start working on guides to help you all out, which is wild because that's exactly what Madame Savvy called when she originally posted her thoughts on this. You and I both know, masterpiece, it is not. It is okay you liked it, but come on now. And I said, I was just about to tag you. And you wonder why it's not as good as it used to be. Maybe it has something to do with Pirate Nation on X says, Masuda has been banned from developing new Pokemon games. So this is why Pokemon has fallen. It's from Central Leaks. Junichi Masuda was banned from directing Pokemon games, referred as the era of Masuda's absolute dominance. Masuda alone handled development planning, personnel decisions, public relations, and game design. Up through Black and White, it was an era where no one could oppose him. However, this led to a concentration of power, and the organization began to run out of control. In personnel matters, unnecessary people, in quotes, aka DEI hires, and favorites emerged. The game's content shifted from being focused on fun to being driven by PR. They could no longer do proper game design. Various problems arose, and during the development of XY, Masuda got into an argument with Sugimori, resulting in a decision that he would no longer be allowed to direct from then on. So that might have something to do with the initial downfall of the series, and it would line up exactly with where I felt like I was kind of falling out of love with Pokemon. And initially I thought it was like, maybe I'm just outgrowing it. Maybe I'm just getting too old for the Pokemon formula. And I'm like, no, because I still love games of all kinds. Pokemon just seems so boring, so repetitive. I was like, why am I doing this? I couldn't. In good faith, I could not keep trying. I'm like, there's so many other games I'd rather play. Why give my time to this game? Just because the name of it is Pokemon? No, not for me. Pirate Nation says Pokemon Legends Z-A Switch versus Switch 2 graphics comparison. I mean, the difference is pretty jarring for the handheld mode with the blurriness. That is a massive difference. I'll give them that. But I mean, docked, it's really not that much of a difference at all. Even honestly, even in handheld mode, yes, it's upscaled and better. I can clearly tell the difference, but enough to justify a purchase of $600 all in plus tax for this to this. I mean, maybe if you're like a hyper Pokemon fanatic, maybe. But for anyone just looking to play the game, at least as far as graphics, I don't know about performance, but as far as draw distance, it seems the draw distance seems exactly the same. Maybe just a little bit blurrier. But as far as the reviews, Pirate Nation says Pokemon Legends Z-A reviews, Video Games Chronicle, which honestly is one of the more trustworthy sources if we're going to count any journal outlets as trustworthy. Giving it a 10 is actually pretty shocking. 6-axis, a 10 as well. And then a lot of 9s here. RPG Site, Screen Rant, Tech Radar, CGM is an 8. VG 24/7 an 8. But then you get into Nintendo Life, gives it a 7. That's pretty brutal. And Eurogamer, one of the more respected outlets out there, at least historically, a 6, which is brutal, like absolutely brutal scoring, which leads to an overall, at least at this point, was a Metacritic of 81, which when I check right now, yep, still an 81 on Metacritic. And it makes you wonder, all things together, when you put it in and consider what's available out there, even with the ongoing lawsuit, Pirate Nation says PalWorld won. Now, when I first saw Pirate Nation post this, I was like, oh, the lawsuit's over? That's it? No. This is referencing how Pokemon came out and people were just like, yeah, no, PalWorld's still better. Considering this, yes, PalWorld won. This is a Pokemon game in 2025. Digimon won. Here we go. There's no audio on it. But I gotta be honest, guys, like this, if you were to tell me, and I'm not even joking when I say this, if you were to tell me this was a GameCube game, I would say, yes, obviously. There's nothing about this video right here that shows me anything more than what a GameCube could produce. At all. You could almost argue that Nintendo technologically, when it comes to Pokemon, has not improved in 4 generations. That's saying something. Oh, and it's also no turn-based, which is a jarring change as well. So, yeah. It almost feels like they're trying to keep up with the Joneses on, oh, people don't like turn-based anymore? Okay. Just lock them into an arena and make you run around in a circle with them. Yeah. See? More interaction. There you go. Again, I don't mean to crap on it too much because, like I said, I know there's a lot of people that are really looking forward to this game. And overall, the scores are not atrocious, but these are the shill media. Careful when you listen to them. And even the shill media, some of them are giving it a 6 and a 7. That's pretty low. An overall Metacritic of an 81. And that's with the Nintendo bonus points, which means that this really is an overall of probably a 71. And that's before actual gamers come in and play it. And again, I go back to Madame Savvy. And if her outlook on this is anything to go by, I would not be hyper excited about getting my hands on this title. But who knows? Maybe it will surprise some people. I just think it's really important to remember that Nintendo has so much money. They have so much power. They have so much ability to do more than whatever the hell they're doing here. But instead, they decide to just be really cheap about it. The development costs going into the Pokemon games are relatively drops in a bucket compared to other AAA games that are being made, which makes you wonder why that is. And I think the only thing you can surmise is Nintendo knows that Pokemon will sell on the name alone. So why put more money into it? Why bother? That would be silly. Why throw good money after a project of it's not going to sell anymore? So why bother? You only need to improve the formula or the game when people stop buying it. So again, I go back to speak with your wallets. And if this is something that is acceptable to you, then keep buying it. But do not complain about it if you buy it. I'll leave that one there.